That urge to go to the bathroom that wakes you up in the middle of the night. Once, twice, maybe 3 times. The feeling that your bladder never fully empties. A stream that no longer has the same force as before. If you're a man over 50, it's very likely you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is a problem that affects millions of men worldwide, often in silence, treated as an inevitable consequence of aging. Frequently, the journey begins in the doctor's office, where the options presented are, most often, medications with a long list of side effects, or, in more advanced cases, surgical procedures. But what if there was a fundamental piece of this puzzle that was being overlooked? What if the answer wasn't just in blocking hormones or removing tissue, but in providing your body with an essential nutrient it needs to regulate itself? This is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to delve deep into the question, swollen prostate? The truth about the vitamin the pharmaceutical industry is hiding from you. And what you're about to discover may change the way you view your prostate health forever. If you're seeking clear, science-based information that puts you back in control of your well-being, you're in the right place. I advise you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because the information we're about to share is powerful and may not be what you hear on traditional channels. The truth is, health is a complex system, and understanding how nutrition and biology connect is the first step to a longer, healthier life. The problem we're addressing, clinically known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, is not just an inconvenience. It profoundly affects quality of life. Sleep disruption leads to daytime fatigue, constant worry about the nearest bathroom limits social life, and frustration can even impact mental health and relationships. The common narrative tells us this is simply what happens as men age, a kind of design flaw of the male body. But modern science is beginning to tell us a different story, a story about inflammation, cellular regulation, and crucially, about nutritional deficiencies that may be fanning the flames of this problem. To understand the solution, we first need to demystify the problem. Benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, is exactly what the name says. Benign, meaning it's not cancer. It's a non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate, a walnut-sized gland located just below the bladder. Imagine that the urethra, the tube that carries urine out of the body, passes right through the middle of the prostate. Now, imagine this gland starting to grow, to swell. It's like someone gently squeezing a garden hose. The flow diminishes, pressure builds, and the bladder has to work much harder to expel urine. This is why the symptoms appear. The weak stream, difficulty starting urination, the feeling of incomplete emptying, and the frequent need to urinate, especially at night. The exact cause is still debated, but the most accepted theory involves hormonal changes that occur with aging, primarily related to a derivative of testosterone called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. This hormone is a potent stimulator of prostate cell growth. Conventional medicine focuses heavily on medications that block DHT production or action, and they can work for many men, but they often come at a cost, such as decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, and other unwanted side effects. What this approach often ignores is the environment in which these cells are growing. It doesn't ask, what is allowing this growth to go unchecked? What might be missing in the body to keep this process in balance? The truth is that healthy cell growth in any part of our body, including the prostate, depends on a complex system of stop and go signals. When should cells divide? And when should they stop? One of the most important regulators of this process is not a patented drug, but rather a fundamental nutrient that our bodies were designed to produce with the help of sunlight. And this is where the story begins to get really interesting, because a widespread deficiency of this nutrient in the modern population, especially in older people who tend to spend less time outdoors or have a reduced ability to synthesize it, alarmingly coincides with the increased prevalence of prostate problems. This piece of the puzzle, this nutrient that seems to play such a crucial role, is vitamin D. Yes, the so-called sunshine vitamin. For decades, we've associated vitamin D almost exclusively with bone health, with calcium absorption. But scientific research over the past 2 decades has revealed that its function in the body is much, much broader. Vitamin D acts more like a steroid hormone than a traditional vitamin, and there are vitamin D receptors in almost every tissue in our body, including, and this is crucial for our discussion, in prostate cells. This means the prostate is an organ that listens to vitamin D signals. When levels are adequate, the message it conveys seems to be one of order and control. When levels are low, this communication fails, and chaos can ensue. Several observational studies have begun to notice an intriguing correlation. Men with lower blood vitamin D levels appeared to have a significantly higher risk of developing BPH. Not only that, but among men who already had the condition, lower vitamin D levels were associated with larger prostates and more severe symptoms. A study published in the Journal of Urology, for example, analyzed a large group of men and found that those with vitamin D deficiency had a considerably larger prostate volume. Other research has replicated similar findings in different populations around the world. The pharmaceutical industry, for obvious business model reasons, focuses on developing patentable molecules that can be sold as drugs. Vitamin D, a natural substance, cannot be patented. There's no massive financial incentive to promote its benefits with the same vigor as a new BPH drug. This is why this information, although robust and growing in the scientific literature, often doesn't reach the general public or doctors' offices with the emphasis it deserves. The question that naturally arises from these observations is inevitable. Is this just a coincidence, a correlation, or is there a real biological mechanism by which vitamin D could be actively protecting prostate health? The answer to this question takes us on a fascinating journey into cellular biology. Vitamin D, or more precisely its active form, calcitriol, is a powerful regulator of cell proliferation and differentiation. Let's translate that. Proliferation is simply the process of cell growth and division. BPH is, in its essence, a problem of excessive proliferation of prostate cells. Vitamin D, by binding to its receptors within prostate cells, activates genes that put a brake on this uncontrolled growth. It helps maintain order, signaling to cells that it's time to stop multiplying. It's like a traffic manager at a busy intersection, ensuring everything flows in an orderly fashion without congestion. Without the traffic manager, meaning with low vitamin D levels, the signals are lost, and the result is a traffic jam of cells, leading to an enlarged gland. But vitamin D's action doesn't stop there. It also promotes something called apoptosis, which is programmed cell death. This is a natural and healthy process. Old or damaged cells need to be eliminated to make way for new, healthy cells. In conditions of BPH, this apoptotic process is often diminished. Cells simply don't get the signal that their time has come and continue to accumulate. Vitamin D helps restore this signaling, acting like a janitor who removes what is no longer needed, keeping the tissue clean and functional. And there's a third mechanism, perhaps the most important, its potent anti-inflammatory action. Chronic low-grade inflammation is now recognized as one of the main drivers of almost all age-related diseases, and BPH is no exception. Prostate tissue in men with the condition often shows signs of inflammation. Vitamin D is one of the most important modulators of the body's immune system, helping to calm the inflammatory response. By reducing inflammation in the prostate, it helps create an environment less conducive to abnormal cell growth. So, we're not talking about a magic effect, but about well-established biological mechanisms, control of growth, promotion of cellular cleanup, and reduction of inflammation. Let's delve a little deeper into this connection, because understanding the how gives us confidence in the strategy. When we talk about BPH, we're talking about an imbalance between growth factors and growth inhibition factors within the prostate. Hormones like DHT scream, "Grow, multiply." The body, in a healthy state, has systems to counterbalance this order. Vitamin D is one of the conductors of this balance orchestra. Think of prostate cells as tiny factories. DHT is a customer who arrives with a huge, urgent order, urging the factory to produce non-stop. Vitamin D, on the other hand, is the quality and operations manager. It enters the factory and says, "Hold on, let's check the processes. We need to ensure that growth is sustainable and that old machines are retired properly." It does this by influencing gene expression. By binding to its receptor in the prostate cell, it can decrease the expression of oncogenes, genes that promote growth, and increase the expression of tumor suppressor genes, genes that inhibit growth. It's fine and elegant regulation. Furthermore, its interaction with the immune system within prostate tissue is fundamental. Chronic inflammation creates a vicious cycle. Immune cells release substances called inflammatory cytokines, which in turn stimulate prostate cells to grow. This growth can lead to more cell damage, which attracts more immune cells, perpetuating inflammation. Vitamin D breaks this cycle. It modulates the immune response, decreasing the production of these inflammatory cytokines and promoting a state of tolerance and repair. If you have any experience with prostate problems or have tried any natural approaches, please share in the comments. Your journey can inspire and help others going through the same situation. The exchange of information in our community is extremely valuable. By putting these three pieces together, inhibition of proliferation, promotion of apoptosis, and suppression of inflammation, we begin to see a very clear picture. Vitamin D deficiency removes one of the main guardians of prostate health, leaving the gland vulnerable to hormonal growth signals and inflammatory damage. Now, it's crucial to be honest and transparent about the strength of the scientific evidence. As in many areas of nutrition, science is constantly evolving. Most of the research linking low vitamin D levels to increased risk and severity of BPH are observational or correlational studies. What does this mean? It means they've observed that the two phenomena occur together, but they can't definitively prove that one causes the other. There might be other factors at play. For example, men with lower vitamin D levels might also have other less healthy lifestyle habits that contribute to the prostate problem. This is why randomized, placebo-controlled clinical trials are considered the gold standard of medical evidence. In these studies, one group receives the nutrient, in this case vitamin D, and another group receives a placebo, and the results are compared. There are already some studies of this type for vitamin D and BPH, and the results are promising but not yet conclusive. Some smaller studies have shown that vitamin D supplementation may help prevent the prostate from increasing in size over time, or even lead to a slight reduction in some men. Others have not found a significant effect. This inconsistency may be due to differences in the doses used, the duration of the studies, or the characteristics of the participants. What we can say with certainty today is this: there is strong evidence of an association between vitamin D deficiency and compromised prostate health. The biological mechanism by which vitamin D positively influences prostate cells is well understood and scientifically plausible. Supplementation is low cost and, when done safely, carries a very low risk of side effects. Therefore, while we cannot claim that vitamin D is a cure for an enlarged prostate, we can state with a high degree of confidence that ensuring adequate vitamin D levels is a fundamental, safe, and evidence-based strategy to support prostate health and potentially help manage BPH symptoms as part of a holistic approach. The question now becomes practical. How can we ensure our levels are where they should be? Moving from theory to practice, how can we optimize our vitamin D levels safely and effectively? There are three main sources: sun exposure, diet, and supplementation. The most natural and potent source is undoubtedly the sun. Our skin, when exposed to UVB sunlight, produces vitamin D3. The amount produced depends on several factors: the time of day, the season of the year, the latitude where you live, your skin pigmentation, and the amount of skin exposed. Generally, 15 to 20 minutes of midday sun exposure between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. with arms and legs exposed and without sunscreen can be enough for many fair-skinned people to produce a significant amount of vitamin D. However, for people with darker skin who have more melanin, which acts as a natural sunscreen, or for older people whose skin has a reduced ability to synthesize the vitamin, more time may be needed. And here we face a dilemma: the need for sun exposure for vitamin D production and the well-known risk of skin cancer. The secret is balance. Short, regular exposure, avoiding sunburn at all costs. The second source is diet, but let's be realistic. It's very difficult to get enough vitamin D from diet alone. The richest food sources are fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, cod liver oil, and egg yolks. Some foods, like milk, yogurts, and cereals, are fortified with vitamin D, but the amounts are usually modest. Therefore, for most people, especially those who already have a deficiency or insufficiency, supplementation becomes the most reliable and measurable strategy. The most recommended form for supplementation is vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, which is the same form produced by the skin and is more effective at raising blood levels than vitamin D2, ergocalciferol. Dosages can vary greatly depending on your initial level, body weight, and health conditions. This is where medical monitoring becomes absolutely indispensable, so that the strategy is personalized and safe for you. When considering supplementation, safety and efficacy are our top priorities. The first and most important recommendation is, do not start supplementing in the dark. Before beginning to use any significant dose of vitamin D, it is crucial that you talk to your doctor and request a blood test to measure your 25-hydroxyvitamin D levels. This test will tell you exactly what your starting point is. Are you deficient, insufficient, or do you already have optimal levels? The answer to this question will determine the correct dosage for you. Supplementing without knowing your levels is like trying to reach a destination without knowing where you are on the map. You might end up taking too little to make any difference, or in rare cases, taking too much. Although vitamin D toxicity is rare, it can happen with the use of extremely high doses for a long period and can lead to calcium buildup in the blood, causing kidney problems and others. This is why professional guidance is so important. Once you and your doctor have determined a dosage, it's important to consider some cofactors that work synergistically with vitamin D. The best known is vitamin K2, especially in its MK7 form. While vitamin D increases calcium absorption in the gut, vitamin K2 helps direct that calcium to the right places, like bones, and teeth, and keep it away from where it shouldn't be, like arteries and soft tissues. Many high-quality supplements today already combine D3 and K2 in the same capsule. Another important mineral is magnesium. Magnesium is needed for the conversion of vitamin D into its active form in the body. Many people are deficient in magnesium, which can make vitamin D supplementation less effective. Ensuring adequate magnesium intake through diet, dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, or supplements can optimize the entire process. Remember, the goal is not just to swallow a pill, but to create a biochemical environment in your body, where this vital nutrient can function in the best possible way, supporting not only the prostate, but your health as a whole. We've reached the most important point of our entire conversation, and I need you to pay very close attention to this. No information we share here, however science-based, replaces the advice, diagnosis, and follow-up of your doctor or urologist. Vitamin D is not a miracle cure, and should not be viewed as a substitute for conventional medical treatments, especially if you are already under medical care for BPH or any other condition. Think of optimizing your vitamin D levels as one of the most powerful and fundamental tools in your wellness toolbox. It's the foundation. It's like ensuring the foundations of your house are solid. If you build a house on weak foundations, no matter how good the walls or the roof are, the structure will be compromised. Vitamin D is one of these foundations for men's health. Our mission with this video was to bring to light the truth about a nutrient that the pharmaceutical industry may not have an interest in promoting, but whose science is robust and promising. The truth is, you have more control over your health than you realize. Alongside a balanced diet, rich in vegetables and healthy fats, regular physical exercise, and stress management, ensuring optimal vitamin D levels is a proactive, low-risk, and potentially high-benefit strategy for your prostate health. The path forward is clear. Talk to your doctor, ask to test your vitamin D levels, and discuss a safe and personalized supplementation plan with them, if necessary. Take charge of your health, ask questions, research, and work in partnership with healthcare professionals. Your prostate health is too important to be left to chance, or to be treated only when symptoms become unbearable. If you found this information valuable and believe it can help other men better understand their health, please share this video. Quality information is our best weapon for a longer, healthier, and more fulfilling life.